Hi there, everybody. Welcome back. We are on the last day of National Seminar. It's been a very long. It seems like it's been both a long week and a short week. It's really.
Always is, always goes
Oh
quick,
yeah,
but
it's
a lot going on.
yeah, it's always crazy at National Seminar. But today I'm joined by Rob Myers. You're teaching a class this week on hearing protection for musicians, which is something I hadn't thought about until recently with the handbells. Can you tell me why you felt like that was an important topic to bring up with us?
Sure. Well, there's a statistic out there that says that nearly 50% of musicians experience some form of hearing loss. And the type of hearing loss that musicians experience most often is noise-induced hearing loss. And it is from the level of frequency of the sound that we as musicians are exposed to,
Mm-hmm.
as much as it also has to do with the length of time that we're exposed to that sound and being in small spaces sometimes with a lot of sound coming at you. Um, this to me seemed like something that was super important to share about. A personal story on it that kind of made the connection for me was an experience I had ringing with an ensemble. And at the end of one song, I had some tinnitus, some ringing in my ear. And that lasted from the time the rehearsal got done until about 4 or 5 days later. And I thought, what do I need to
Yeah.
do to like not have this be a problem?
Right. Well, we usually don't think of handbells as a particularly loud instrument like a rock
Right.
band or something, but you can still get hearing loss from.
Most
Yeah.
definitely. In 2000, there was an outstanding article that I would recommend for everyone who's listening and or watching to check out by Michelle Tejada, who is a handbell musician and is also an audiologist. And she wrote this awesome article in overtones, and she quoted a study that was done of handbell musicians who had a hearing test, rehearsed for 30 minutes, and then had another hearing test done after the rehearsal. And what they actually found is that the ringers, particularly in the sixes and sevens, the higher register of our instrument, almost all of them had some level of hearing loss at the end of rehearsal.
Uh-huh. I could see that happening. Yeah.
So yeah. So and it's not just those upper bell ringers, it's the people who ring next to them, depending on the arrangement of your rehearsals or performance space, the people in front or behind of them
Hmm.
that need to be mindful of these things.
So, what should you do to be mindful of hearing loss in handbells?
Sure. So the first thing you can do is just simply hone your ears to being mindful to the observation that, oh, there might be something going on here. So if you notice a buzzing, a ringing, a high-pitched whistling, you've got some sort of hearing loss that you're noticing after rehearsal. And if this starts to become sort of a chronic thing, a problem that you see or a pattern, then you need to address that particularly. I think everyone, aside from whether you specifically are experiencing a problem or not, should be mindful of this as well. So there are a couple of things that you can do. You can address the acoustics in your rehearsal space. There's a lot of sound deadening things that you can do to the space to make it a little more acoustically friendly for your hearing. But one of the easiest things to do is to get musicians' earplugs.
Yes. Yes.
And so speak with an audiologist and have them custom made for you or custom designed for your instrument or the space, and wear those to protect your hearing health.
Yeah, that's a great. This season is the first season that I've started wearing hearing protection whenever I'm like A5, B5 up, because that's usually where I live on the
Yeah.
bell table. And yeah, this is the first season I've been wearing hearing protection while I play, and it's made a wealth of difference
Yeah.
in just the amount of detail I can hear while playing, and then also just um, your ears feeling fine after rehearsals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
And there's there are a lot of things you can do in the moment. With the personal experience I shared with you, I just shoved cotton in my ears just to
Yeah.
as an immediate measure to help things out.
And it really depends on the way the piece is arranged. Like when we're playing pieces where it's just a melody line in the sixes and sevens, it's not really that hard. But when you get into the pieces that have the really thick chords up
Right.
at the top of the treble range, it kind of becomes piercing almost when you're
Yeah.
that close.
Yeah. And so the two big things are not just the frequency or
Mhm.
pitch, but also just the sheer volume of the sound. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
When people are looking for earplugs to use, are there certain ones you want to use?
Yeah, so ideally you would seek out an audiologist who would work with you to, design them and custom fit them and whatnot. There are some sort of commercially available, I was going to call them over the counter.
Over-the-counter earplugs.
Over the counter earplugs. There's a product that Jennifer Van Golen educated me about called Dubs, which you can get on Amazon that are good for kind of muffling or saving some of the harsher sounds. The thing about like just shoving cotton or the little foamy ones that you can get at like the drugstore in your ear is that those particularly cancel out the higher frequencies, but they don't cancel out the lower frequencies. So you're hearing less of the higher sounds and probably the same or just a little less than the other sounds. The specific musician designed earplugs bring everything down in all of the frequency ranges equally. So you don't lose any sensitivity as a musician.
Yeah, I think that's one thing people worry about when wearing earplugs and playing music is losing the ability to hear the other bells. But
Right.
you can still hear everything that's going on the table. And then you just play. You kind of just adjust based on what you're hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's a really important topic, and I don't think it's one we talk about enough in the belt world.
Right.
Because again, we're an acoustic instrument, and we don't think that that's necessarily an issue that we have.
Definitely.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much for
Sure.
chatting with us, Rob,
Definitely.
about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I look forward to seeing what else teach over the years.
Definitely.
Here.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah. So we're gonna.